Everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. This is a new film in the Planet of the Apes franchise, which I'm a pretty big fan of the modern stuff. I've only seen the original from the previous stuff, and the Tim Burton one, of course, from the early aughts. So let's get into it. This film is rated PG-13 with a runtime of 2 hours and 25 minutes, which I think it's a little bit long. We'll talk about that in a second. We also have a Rotten Tomato score as of this video of 80% from the critics, 79% from the audience, and a Letterboxd average rating of 3.5 stars. I am a lot closer to the Letterboxd grade than the other one. I can definitely see and understand people that give this an 80%, which is around 4 stars. Um, let's do a quick synopsis for this movie. Several generations in the future, following Caesar's reign, apes are now the dominant species and live harmoniously, while humans have been reduced to living in the shadows. As a new tyrannical ape leader builds his empire, one young ape undertakes a harrowing journey that will cause him to question all that he's known about the past and to make choices that will define the future of the apes and humans alike. This is directed by Wes Ball, who directed some of the Maze Runner films, and it stars Owen Teague as Noah, our main protagonist ape, Freya Allen as May, who is also goes by Nova in the film. Definitely a callback to the previous to the original film. So she's the main human. Kevin Durand as Proximus Caesar. You may remember him from comic book films, like he played the Blob in the Wolverine Origins film. He also, if you're one of the people that watch the Swamp Thing TV show, he was the Fluorescent Man. And also we have Peter Macon as Araka. He's the orangutan. There's a lot more actors, and we'll get into the acting. So let's start with some of the. I'm not gonna call them negatives, just a little bit of my gripes with this film. So to me, I feel like the film struggles to just completely get my attention for the full film, and this film is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Right, this is setting up, I believe, 5 films in total in this new age of apes that is 300 years removed from the original trilogy that we saw a few years ago. Um, and I guess when I say original, I mean the modern trilogy. Um, yeah, it just really it was a little bit overpacked. I do love that it just spends a lot of time in the world, wandering. Uh, but sometimes we just kind of get lost in that. There's a lot to explore for sure, which is great. This world is so much fun to get into, but then every once in a while, I feel like we need to rein it back a little bit and get back to the main story. It is definitely very fascinating how a franchise like this manages to keep surprising the viewers even after so long. It's still very, it's still very compelling. It's still very worth exploring. There's still so much more to do. I believe the original film is from like the 60s, 68, if I'm not mistaken. That's a long time to like be in the zeitgeist of pop culture. I think people love apes, and that's one of the reasons that they go into these films with such strong opinions. Um, it's a bit of a miss. This film is all over the place for a big amount of the time, but it's trying to do so much, and I think some of it does it very well. It gives you a very great explanation of like this new world. You get to see some really cool visual elements as you explore the world. There's definitely conflict, and the antagonist of Proximus Caesar and his his I guess army or his kingdom that he's gathered definitely comes into the film a little by little. You kind of get to see that evolution. The human element of it doesn't feel tacked on. Now, something that they start off the film with, and I'm glad they did because I definitely forgot because I didn't rewatch the other films. The original virus not only made the apes smarter, it had the opposite effect later in later movies with the humans, right? Some of them died. Some of them just lost a lot of what makes them human, like cognitive speech and reason and all things like that. So they give you that information right off the bat, and it's very important. And I'm glad that I got it because definitely, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. I forgot that in the Woody Harrelson movie, that's kind of what he was. He was kind of losing it because of the virus. So it sets up a really interesting world. And overall, I kind of kept going, like, oh, this movie's going, like, it's like we have a really nice cool sequence, and then the movie takes a little bit too long again, and then we have a really nice cool sequence once again. So it's kind of a bit up and down. But I will say the third act really brings it all back. Like, it's such once you kind of get going, it's like you were kind of struggling to get to the top of that roller coaster, but once you get there, holy shit, strap on, hold on tight, because it's just excitement all the way throughout the end. So the last 30 to 40 minutes of the film are very well done. I think you'll feel the change in the mood and the tone of the film when you get to that place. So I really enjoyed that. As far as the performances, they're they're amazing. Like the body capturing, or yeah, the motion capture that they do, and I've loved seeing the actors on the media tour, specifically Kevin Durant. Like he has such a great presence. I recently watched Abigail, which he's also a part of, and he just is such an imposing presence. It makes sense to have him motion the antagonist Proximus, right? Um, and Noah becomes a very endearing protagonist. I think somebody that you want to follow. And then, of course, we have the mystery of Freya Allen, like May, this character that begins as Nova and evolves into this character. We don't know where she fully stands on this apes war or conflict, if you will. And there's obviously a lot more surprises that I won't get into. I don't want to spoil anything. But to me, the top performance was Peter Macon as Raka, the orangutan. I feel like the orangutans always get like the best stuff to do in the films. Also, sometimes the gorillas as well, especially in the Tim Burton film. So yeah, I really enjoyed all the performances. I can't wait to see some of the behind the scenes stuff. I actually really want to rewatch this. I don't think I'll go to the theater again to watch it, but I definitely want to watch it again. The last thing I'll touch on, we have some stunning visuals. Like this feels very tactile, very lived in, very real in a lot of places, especially with some of the climbing, some of the fights, some of the sequences that are full of action, and even the apes themselves, they just look great. um, a little bit they're not as humanoid like as the ones you saw in the if you followed any of the media for this film, or any of the promotion for this film, you saw there were some apes and horses. They don't look like that. Like they took the time and care to make these apes feel as ape like as they could, while still bringing them up to this like more subhuman level. Really well done, really fun ending, like I mentioned. And obviously you can tell they're opening so many doors to so many things that they could do in the future. I think that was both something cool, but also it was kind of a burden, right? This movie has a lot of, it's the foundation of this new trilogy or quadrilogy or whatever they're trying to do. I believe they want to do 9 modern films total, so this would be the fourth one. Yeah, so highly recommend you go check this out in the biggest screen possible. As far as the sound, I'm not very familiar with the scores from Planet of the Apes, so if there was any callbacks or anything, but the battle sounded great. Like the ADR for the apes, like it just felt really like in your face. I think one of my like Peter Macon has his voice has so much gravitas when he talks, and then of course Kevin Durant, as I mentioned, just really menacing in his performance, and then Owen Teague just really kind of making he's definitely the character that you're gonna want to follow. Now, I might make another video about some theories that I've seen online, some theories that I have of my own. I don't want to spoil anything here, but if you have seen this film, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, and remember, apes together strong.